Hello friends, happy Monday, happy August, and welcome to another episode of Mindset Moment. Jenny Martin here, coming to you live from Wollongong on this gorgeous day. And I wanted to talk to you about something that I come across quite often in my conversations with people. You know, as human beings, we often face these things called dilemmas, these big decisions that we have to make, that we, deliberate over, we stress over, we obsess over, and no matter what we do, we can't seem to come up with a viable solution or decision. Now, I'm not talking about ethical dilemmas here. They are for a whole other episode, but I'm just talking about these life choices these life paths that we face every now and then. And it just seems that, no matter how much we weigh up the pros and cons, no matter how many people we talk to, how many conversations we have, what we read, what we look at, what we think about, we still can't seem to come up with a solution. And I'm just looking at my notes here. So, it seems like all courses of action seem equally flawed and we just can't figure it out. And that's why it really is a dilemma, right? There's no easy option. There's no easy answer. That's why it's a dilemma. So, for example, do I stay in a certain relationship? Should I quit my job? Should I buy this or that? Should I have an operation or not? Should I live here or there? Should I, put a parent in an aged care facility or keep them at home? That's a big one that comes up all the time. But the biggest one probably is about, staying in a relationship or a job. These are the ones that I talk to most people about. And it can take days, weeks, and months to figure out the right answer. And in the meantime, you're walking around in this psychological smog or fog, not really present to your current situation and all the people around you, because you're so distracted trying to decide what the hell to do. And you're quite anxious and stressed and worried, and you're missing out on life in the here and now if this is something that you're grappling with at the moment. So I called on the incredible Russ Harris, who's the author of The Happiness Trap, and, to get his ideas. So I did my thesis under one of his colleagues, and it was about acceptance and commitment therapy, an incredible type of therapy. And so these steps are from that. And what I've done is I've condensed his 10 steps down to 8, because 10's a lot, right? So keep this in mind if you're ever faced with a dilemma. And I wanted to kind of come up with a formula that you can follow, because when we have a formula to anything in life, especially these evasive, fuzzy psychological things that we have to face, it's really helpful to have some clear steps and guidelines from people that have gone before you. That's what I find anyway. So that's why I come to you and share with you my ideas. So step 1 when faced with a dilemma is acceptance. So one thing to keep in mind is that you're probably not going to, come up with the right answer in a short period of time. It's going to take some processing and some time. So can you make room for that reality that, struggling with it and really trying to grapple with it is actually going to make it worse? It actually just may take some time, and rushing the process may be detrimental to the process. So just face that it's probably not going to get solved in the next 24 hours, and to just give it some time and to accept that. Okay, and on that note, try to hold it out here. So while you're still living your life and around people and you're having to show up for people and you've got responsibilities, just hold that dilemma and that decision to the side lightly and, follow these steps. Step 2 is weighing up the costs and benefits. It's always a good one to throw in there. Sometimes it may not work, it's a really black and white way to help us make decisions, but sometimes, as I'm sure you've figured out, sometimes the pros and cons or the costs and benefits are actually kind of even in terms of the amount, and you're actually left even more confused than when you started. And if that happens, then it really does confirm that you are facing a true dilemma, because weighing up the pros and cons when you're facing a true dilemma probably doesn't work. But it's worth a try just in case it gets you out of it. The third step is just understanding that there may not be a perfect solution. Whatever decision you make may not feel 100% right or 100% perfect, and that's because it's a dilemma. That's why it's a dilemma. There's no easy option, right? There's not one like really obviously clear, easy option. Otherwise you would have picked it and you wouldn't be facing a dilemma. So even when you make a choice, you still may have an element of anxiety or stress or fear related to it, and that's completely normal. It doesn't mean that it's the wrong choice. You just may have to ride that out until you realize, until it becomes clear that actually it was the right choice at the moment. So don't let anxiety stop you from making that decision. Step 4, there's no way not to choose. So just recognize that in the process of not choosing, you're actually choosing to stick with the status quo. So for example, if you're in a job that you're not sure about and you don't know if you want to quit or stay, choosing to stay and not deciding to go is actually a choice, is it not? So just recognizing that you actually are making a choice not to make a choice, if that makes sense. So every day you don't quit your job, you're choosing to stay. Every day you don't leave the marriage, you're choosing to stay. Okay, step 5, acknowledge today's choice. So following on from step 4, start each day acknowledging the choice that you have made for that day. So you're going to say to yourself like, okay, for the next 24 hours, I choose to stay in the marriage. For the next 24 hours, I choose to stay in the job. For the next 24 hours, I choose to keep mum at home and not put her in an aged care facility. As I said at the start, that's a big dilemma that I talk to a lot of families about. For the next 24 hours, I'm going to choose to not start that weight loss program. And, and I'm going to kind of, just be okay with that decision. So it'll mean that you're kind of less in that limbo zone and you're actually just still present in today's day. So Russ Harris, author of The Happiness Trap, where these ideas are from, is really big on staying in the present moment, mindfulness, sticking to your values and getting the most out of every single day. So start each day acknowledging that you have made a choice and that you're going to give it everything you've got for the next 24 hours. So be really good at that choice for the day, and tomorrow you can make a different choice. Number 6 is take a stand. So again, following on from step 5, given your choice in step 5, what do you stand for in the next 24 hours? What values do you want to live by? What sort of person do you want to be? So if you've chosen to stay in the job for the next 24 hours before deciding on what to do, then what type of employee are you going to be for the next 24 hours? If you've decided to stay in the marriage and not make a change for the next 24 hours, what kind of partner and spouse are you going to be for the next 24 hours? And you might find that in that process of really deciding to show up and be the best person you can be in that place, then it actually might take the dilemma away, and it might give you something that you have actually been looking for that you weren't finding because you weren't giving it a good shot. You were just living in this limbo land while you were trying to decide what to do. Hello to everyone that is joining me, by the way. Hopefully you are following this today. It's all about what to do when you are faced with a dilemma, not an ethical dilemma, just a practical life dilemma. Okay, we've got 2 more steps to go. Step 7 is name the story. I love this one, Russ. It is a great one, thank you. So through the day, your mind will try to pull you back and try to get you to keep thinking about the dilemma over and over again. And in the process, you're not actually being present in whatever you're trying to do, right? So your mind will say things like, hey, here we go again. It's back to that stay or leave story. So when that happens, you just basically thank your mind. Because remember that your mind can be kind of like a separate entity to you, and it can kind of have a mind of its own, really, I'm sure you've noticed. So if your mind keeps trying to get you to think about the dilemma and figure out what to do and it distracts you, just thank it and just say, oh, there's that story again about, should I stay or should I go, or should I quit or should I stay, or should I do this or should I do that? Just thank your mind and redirect your attention, because it's not the right moment to be thinking about it, okay? And number 8, and the final step, is self-compassion. So be kind. Unhook yourself from any judgment that you've got, any unhelpful mind chatter about the fact that you can't make this decision. Remember that you're a human being. You're not some like high-tech computer that's going to just like analyze all the information and spit out a black and white answer for you, and then you're going to be going on your merry way. It doesn't work that way. You know, life is complex. We have so many things that we've got to keep in mind when we're making these decisions, and you know, there's no rule book around it until now. So just be kind to yourself, take it easy. Remember that it's a very hard decision, and that at some point you will make the right decision. It may not feel right at the time, but at some point you'll make a decision, and you will go along with it. And if it works out that it's not the right decision, then I'm sure that you'll figure out a way to pivot and change course, because we can always do that in life. We live privileged lives in this part of the world where we can, you know, almost like treat life like an experiment. We can give one thing a go, and if it doesn't work, we can try something else. That's what I absolutely love. You know, we're never very often backed into a corner where we can't reverse the things that we decide. So recycle through these steps every day, and if one option seems more attractive than the other, then it's no longer a dilemma. Then you take that choice. And, you know, remember that at some point you may just need to take the leap, if one choice isn't, you know, a front runner, and decide and remember that some anxiety is normal, and that you can always change course later if it works out to not be quite the right choice at that time. So hopefully that has been helpful to all of you that are facing a dilemma right now, or at some point will face a dilemma. It's really just part of the human condition. I try to think of it as a little bit of a privilege as well. Pressure is a privilege. You know, we have so many options and choices in this life, and sometimes, you know, a couple of them come our way and we don't know what to do, because both seem equally attractive, or both seem kind of equally big and scary. So use these steps. Let me know how you go with them. Share this with your friends or family. I would really appreciate that. I love to get these ideas out to as many people as possible through this platform. And have an awesome Monday, and I will see you next Monday for another episode of Mindset Monday. Let me know if there's anything you want me to cover as well. I would love your ideas. All right. Love you guys. Bye.